All right, so one thing you're gonna really have to be good at is becoming a good consumer. So this is when you're going through the aisles and you're looking at some boxed foods or packaged foods. You wanna make sure you're reading the food label. Because some of these foods will be okay, some are not gonna be. Remember, most of the foods you're eating for these 30 days are not even gonna have food labels because what the food is the only ingredient, like an apple. There's no sticker on an apple that says how many servings, how many calories, and what's in this apple. It's just an apple. So remember that as you start to shop, and if you're buying tons of stuff with nutrition facts or food labels on it, that's not really the stuff you want to be eating. There are some things though that we do need to look at the labels, and we want to make sure we know how to read them because we may be surprised at the stuff we're actually eating. So when you look at a food label, the most important thing is to look at the ingredients list. And this tells us everything that's in the food. The first ingredient in an ingredients list is going to be what the food has the most of. So you may be surprised when you go to maybe get a drink of some sort or get a cereal and you see that sugar is the first ingredient. So that means that the main thing in that food product is sugar. So it's not even really food, it's just sugar with other stuff in it. So make sure you're paying attention to that ingredients list. Besides that first ingredient, we want to make sure the list is short and it's words you can pronounce. So it should be all things you know, you can easily read, you can easily say. Once we get into this long list of tons of stuff, that's when we know it's just all artificial. So it's processed stuff, artificial sweeteners, chemicals, things that they may not necessarily add calories into our diet, but do we really want that in our body? And what else is that doing to our body? Probably getting in the way of our goals, probably making us feel lethargic and tired, probably not making us feel very good. So you want to make sure that ingredients list is short and you can pronounce every single word on there and that you probably know what they are. So one of the foods you'll definitely have to check the ingredients list on is dairy. And so remember, we said you can have plain Greek yogurt, plain cottage cheese once a day. Here's the difference between some of the plain yogurts and other stuff. So if I'm looking at a plain Greek yogurt nutrition label here, I see the first ingredient, cultured pasteurized non-fat milk, and there's live and active cultures. So those are the probiotics that are in yogurt and what makes it good for you. So if I'm looking at another yogurt, this looks like a flavored blueberry one. There's cultured grade A non-fat milk, blueberries, water, sugar, fructose, modified cornstarch, natural flavor, carrageenan, carmine for color, and then there's about 7 more things after that. So as you can see, the ingredients list is huge. So the blueberry one isn't just the yogurt and blueberries, because that would be totally fine and on your list, so you can make that if you want. There's tons of other stuff in there that we really don't need or want. So start to pay attention to that. Another thing is frozen vegetables and frozen fruits. Frozen vegetables usually don't have anything else added to them, but I would still check the label to make sure. But sometimes frozen fruit, so I'll throw it out there now, frozen is fine as long as there's nothing else in it. Frozen fruit usually has, added sugar or added this for color. So just keep an eye on that because there's nothing wrong because they usually freeze it right as soon as they harvest it. So if there's nothing else added in that ingredients list and your frozen green beans is just green beans and your frozen mango is just mango, you're good to go. But make sure you are reading that. Another food to compare ingredients lists is your nut butters. So peanut butter, almond butter, cashew butter, anything like that. Make sure you're looking at the ingredients list here, because you may find that some of them have just tons of other stuff in there. So your peanut butter should really have only raw peanuts or roasted peanuts and maybe salt, that's fine. It shouldn't have added sugar, added stuff for color, anything else in it. So your best bet is to either get it fresh ground like Whole Foods does, or just get a natural one, check the ingredients list, and make sure there's nothing else added. It should only be that nut in there. Maybe salt, but nothing else. So now that you will be a smarter consumer, next time you go through the grocery store or even check your stuff at home right now, what is on those ingredients lists? And what really is going into your food that you're eating? If it's food, that's great. If it's tons of processed chemicals, we want to get rid of it. And you probably don't want to be feeding that to your family either. So have some fun looking at nutrition labels. Let me know what you find, and I'll see you guys soon.